educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work podcast, where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here is your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
I thank you very much for tuning in today. I thank you very much. I have a great guest today. He is a two-time Ernst and Young Entrepreneur of the Year, is a celebrated author, speaker, and brand strategist. And with a core emphasis on differentiation, he advocates for leaders to unearth and champion their brand's distinctiveness to win market share and the hearts of the people who represent it. His book, The Power of Differentiation, win hearts, minds, and market share, and is distributed by Simon & Schuster, embodies this philosophy. As the founder of Labov, a renowned marketing training firm serving blue-chip clients, he is renowned for his infectious energy, creativity, and uplifting energy. I thank y'all very much for tuning in today. I bring none other to you than Barry. Thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much. It's an honor. I'm really looking forward to this, and I love your energy and positive vibes that go on. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, one of the things that I've learned in doing my research about you is tenacity, dedication, consistency. And in doing that, I've learned that sometimes doing interviews, going door to door 40 times a week, and talking to individuals and getting the door closed on you, sometimes or a lot of times we get turned away, but your significant other encourage you to keep it going. But what I'm really want to get at is that determination. How did you understand, or where did that come from, where you wanted to go into music, get your stuff published or whatever it was, but you kept going through and getting that door closed? How did you continue on with that type of energy?
Well, I appreciate that. You did do your homework, and that means a lot to me. So I do appreciate it. So that's kudos back to you for what you do so well. You really dig in. I'll share something that I've not shared in podcasts. It's in my book, and there's something that I think is really interesting, and I'll answer your question as far as tenacity and how do you put up with it and how do you keep going. There are two words that I want us to think about: passion and intensity. All right. Now, here's what intensity is. Intensity is you're pushing through and you're trying to get something done, and people go, I can't believe how intense this guy. Oh, God. Right. Can you believe this? Oh, my gosh. Why is he pushing? Why is he doing that? Oh, God. You know how oh, man, his intensity. All right. But then after you win the big award or after your team lands the big project and you're celebrating, the same people come up and they talk about that same person, and they don't use the word intensity. They use the word passion. Oh, I love his passion. Oh, his passion's amazing. And I look at passion and intensity are two sides of the same coin. So when you talk about how do you take, the punches in the mouth and everything else, is honestly, I have been willing to give up a number of times. And like you said, my wife in a number of cases said, come on, you shouldn't do that. And I have pushed through realizing, and now at my ripe old age, I have realized, and wish I could have understood earlier, so this can help some of the younger folks in the audience, that, you know what, if you're rejected and if somebody says, hey, you're no good, because I've had that happen, in some cases, that person could be right. It could be you're not good at that. But in a lot of cases, setting that aside, Maurice, what I think is interesting is, sometimes that person may be literally trying to hurt your feelings, okay? Sometimes the person could be envious. Sometimes they're trying to help you. I was taking music classes in college, and the head of the music department pulled me in. And he sat down with me and he says, I know that you're really trying to make it big in music. And, I just want you to give that up. and become a teacher like me, because I gave it up too. I had a dream and I wanted to be great. And you know what? I just had to realize I need to give up. And so I became a professor. And he listened to me respond, and I listened to him back and forth. And what was interesting was I said, okay, well, thank you very much. And I walked off. And I realized, he wasn't trying to hurt me. He was projecting his give up that he had years prior. And so I didn't get angry at him. I didn't give up on my career or my dream because of it, but he was trying to help me. So what I have done is I've realized that nobody knows everything. So if somebody thinks you're no good and you believe in what you're doing, you push through, you have that intensity. And I think what you have to do as you go through it, you also have to keep your mind open and learn. And there could be things that you're doing that aren't good enough. There are things you could improve on. I think if you take accountability for your failures and for your shortcomings, you'll more likely take really good accountability for your successes, healthy accountability, where you go, I wasn't as good at this one thing or another, but I've learned. So to me, it's pushing through. It's not letting no be the defining moment of your life.
So here's the reason why I'm asking that particular question, because everything is copycat right now. And so unfortunately, when you start to differentiate yourself from the next person, the next business, your coworker that's sitting next to you, doors can be closed. You're trying to show yourself a different way in the market. Oh, it's never been done that way. It doesn't sound that way, or whatever it is. So that's why I'm asking that particular question, because a lot of times we want to copy what everybody else is doing on social media, writing this paper, whatever it is, even just copy and pasting from AI, so
Right.
the tenacity, the dedication to say, hey, I am unique, to find my authentic voice in this particular situation, I think is really key to moving forward. So that's why I asked that question.
Yeah, we are pressured today to be commoditized. We're pressured to look and act and price and offer what everyone else does. And the problem with that is, as soon as we do that, we only have one option. We got to lower our price. And as we lower our price, we then cannot afford to do all those things we used to do that made us a little special.
Right.
And then all the people who work with and for us are going, you know what? This is faded glory. We used to be so good. We're not anymore. We're like everybody else. So what happens is you're trying, you might even have good intention. I'm trying to increase business and sales, right? But you've lost what your uniqueness is, your distinctiveness. And in doing that, you lose the people who are around you. I
Right.
always needed people around me for us to realize success. I do anything alone. But you think about it, if you truly believe you're not doing it alone, then the people with you have to know why you're doing what you're doing, what makes what you're doing a little different. We do it this way. Here's why we do it. And just as important, if not more, you have to celebrate that with those individuals so they feel significance. Otherwise, think about it. If you're working somewhere and you're going, look, I do what everyone else does. We don't do anything special. We're the same as everyone else.
Yeah.
Why would that person want to do a good job, and why would they want to stay? So I'm trying to help people. I want to inspire 1 million people with this message, meaning there may be hundreds or thousands of leaders that get it, and they share it with thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And it's that we have to realize that we do only 1, 2, or 3 things really unique as individuals as well as brands. Let's identify them. Let's celebrate them with the most important people. And then, you know what? I think in general, if you do those things, your customers will get it. They'll feel excited. They'll feel the excitement of your people. So it comes together when you do it. But it is tough. It is not easy. It is very, very tempting to lower your standards and be like everyone else.
So here's the thing. As you were going through trying to get your music published, You ran into one individual who their resume preceded them to some degree, right?
Yes.
And I'm alluding to it. You feel free to go deeper into it. I'm only alluding to it because I want people to do their research, find out more information about you. You get what I mean? But this one individual had the information, the resume, the cachet, the ego, whatever it might have been that could have derailed you, and staying in your authentic voice. Because as this individual will say, hey, you have no talent, but
Right.
the reality is that you have talent. You just got to believe in what you have. And a lot of times we're not
Yeah.
steadfast and we're not like a tree in knowing who we are.
Right. Well, the story is I had written a number of songs with my wife. We went to New York City. We had 40 appointments that week. So basically one per hour. And this is a wonderful story because I think it tells an entire story as opposed to the tiny little snippet. It's the whole story. So, and I can do it very quickly. So we met with a very famous music publisher for our first appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was excited, and we had worked so hard to get ready. And long story short, met with him. My wife was next to me. He took my little cassette player, my cassette, and put it in his machine and listened to only a couple seconds of the first song, couple seconds of the next, couple seconds of the third and the fourth, handed it back to me. He says, "Kid, you have no talent. Give up." And I mean, my heart sank. And he goes, "Well, maybe you could write country music, but you can't do anything else." And I thought that was kind of funny. And he said, "Look, you have no talent. Give up." And I felt terrible. And I did not have to open the door to leave. I walked under the door as we walked out because I felt so small. And I went down to the street looking for a cab with my wife. And I said, "Boy, this is tough." And she says, "Honey, do you think every appointment will be like this week?" And I was like almost infuriated. I said, "What do you mean? We're going home. We're going to take the first flight back to Indiana." And she said, "Oh, come on, silly. That's just one guy. Who knows?" So I said, "Okay." I go to the very next appointment, and it's Billy Joel's publishing company.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in. I still don't have to open a door. I'm walking under the door. I feel terrible. I hand him my cassette. He listens to it. He gets done. I take the cassette from him. He looks shocked. I start walking out, and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm leaving." He said, What is going on?" He said, "You look so down." He said, "I want to publish one of your songs." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, I think it's great. I'm going to publish your song. I'll send you a contract." I said, "Golly." And he said, what's your problem? I don't understand your problem. And I said, "Well, I was just told by so-and-so, the famous publisher, that I have no talent." And he said, "Don't you understand? He tells that story to everybody. He says that to everyone. He tells everyone to give up." I thought, oh my God, I almost gave up because this old guy had an issue. Now, Maurice, this is where it gets really interesting. This is, as they say, the rest of the story. So I had 38 more appointments. So if this was a TV movie, made for TV movie, I would have landed 15 more sales and everything's great. No, I ended up having no more sales that week. I had one song. Now, the other 38 people were nice, and they did not tell me to go jump off a cliff or something. But the reality is I had to take the beating. I took the shot to the mouth. I got back up, went into the next guy, and it was a hit. It was a great thing. And that's how I succeeded there. But I have to tell you, I succeeded at 1 out of 40. That's 2.5% success rate. And that's all I needed.
Right. And I think that's the key right now, the importance of being different and staying consistent in that different, and being different, because your sound didn't have to sound like everyone else. It didn't have to sound what was popular at that time or whatever it was. It was being your authentic self. And so I think in that for companies today, we need to stay authentic. We need to stay in our space and not trying to be like someone else. So if you can, just explain why is it so important for us to stay our authentic selves?
interesting is when I started my book, and by the way, I'm not in music anymore. I'm in marketing and advertising and training. Uh, but that I've learned all those things from my music career. But what happened was, as I was writing my book called The Power of Differentiation,
Mm-hmm.
it was primarily about marketing and how can you increase your market share. And, it was good, it had the good stories. Then the pandemic hit. And in 1 year alone, 50 million Americans quit their jobs. They were unhappy. They walk off and quit.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh my gosh, it's horrible. So I looked up, there are like 500,000 to, 1 million different brands in different industries. So I'm thinking, you've got millions of different brands. So it's hard to distinguish anything, right? And you've got 50 million people quitting their jobs because they've got no significance. They've got no feeling of meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, you know what? It's not just today about let's differentiate our product. It's let's differentiate our product and who we are
Mm-hmm.
so that our people believe, our people represent us, our people understand that they actually are significant. And I want to share one thing that's really important
Mm-hmm.
because this can help a lot of us. A lot of us think, hey, I've got to be the best, and if I'm not the best, I don't have any distinction. I mean, I'm not the best. There is a very, very big difference between differentiating yourself and saying that you are superior to any other brand or product out there.
Mm-hmm.
Differentiation and superiority are not even related. Think of the great brands and you think what makes them different. It's not because they're a perfect brand.
Mm-hmm.
Harley Davidson has a great distinctive sound. It's coming. It's got this beautiful look. Okay, the great people at Harley, and I've been fortunate enough to work with them, will tell you that they are not superior in every way,
Mm-hmm.
but they are distinct. They do make you feel like you're part of the family when you buy one of their products, okay? And you look at that and you go, no, wait a minute, they're not perfect and they want to keep improving, but they are distinct. And what they hold on to is this is who we are. We're not trying to become Kawasaki, Suzuki, or BMW motorcycles. We are Harley Davidson. This is who we are. Now, again, not going Harley centric on this, but it's the same thing we have to do for ourselves as individuals or our small or large businesses. Hey, we do these 3 things really well. They're unique. We have 4 steps in our quality control process, or we do such and such in a different way, or we design our products so that you're able to do this and that. And we're the only company that does that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that's important to you, we may be a good fit. Now, if you say, I don't care about that, then we're not.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to realize, let's give up on being all things to all people. And let's be true to ourselves and share it with those most important people.
So one question I have, because you talked about marketing and branding and things like that. Again, do your research on Barry. He has a lot of information, and he's the inspiration to me because he's been married over 30 years. I'm at 24, so I'm looking forward to that to that part of life. But one of the things that I'm listening to you, that there is buy-in from the customers understanding what they're purchasing. But a lot of times that's the thought of that is externally. We don't understand the importance of the internal customers being our employees buying into that idea. So how important is that?
It's very important. I work with a wonderful ambulance manufacturer, and I talked to one of the people on the line one day, and I said, what do you do? And he said, I plug in wire harnesses. And he said, I'm thinking of leaving and going to another factory for 25 cents an hour more. And I said, well, if you think about it, each one of those ambulances will last 10 years. And within those 10 years, there will be about 100,000 people inside that ambulance, either driving or being a patient, or it could be the family, or it could be one of their emergency medical techs.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, so you're protecting 100,000 people, either sometimes even saving their lives. And he stopped. He said, well, I didn't think I was in the life-saving business. And I said, maybe you are. And you think about, maybe he'll now plug that wire harness in. Maybe he'll stay. Maybe he'll make sure everyone else on the line is doing their job because, hey, people, we're saving lives here. I think we have to give that to our employees too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's every day. That's not the once a year family picnic. That's not the Christmas party. It's not the happy holidays party. It's not the Halloween dress up day. It's every day, every chance you have to say, no, wait a minute. Here's the difference you're making. And we have to provide that to our people.
Sometimes we don't, we're not able to articulate, communicate, even express how important those little, because someone might look at that little as a little job, as just a little piece of the cog, but we don't understand sometimes that's probably just as important as the word ambulance on the side of the truck. So we have to understand that we are a part of the whole and not just a just little place just because we're back in the corner somewhere. We got to believe in what we're doing.
We do. And I think here's one secret I like to share. And this can work great if you're a solopreneur or any size business. And that is talk to your customers, talk to your employees, talk to your suppliers, even talk to your community, any people that are involved with your brand, your product. And you can ask them, hey, what are we doing that's unique? Hey, what do you like? Hey, what should we change? All that. But ask this question. What is it that you do not want us to change?
Mm-hmm.
What should we never change? And you're going to start hearing things, and you're not going to hear 55, 60 different things. You're going to hear 2 or 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you should never change that you do blah, blah, blah. And you'll hear that not just from customers. It will be from employees. Oh, I hope we never change such and such.
Mm-hmm.
And here's one of the reasons I share this, because I have the same disease as an entrepreneur. And that is, hey, I'm willing to change anything. And the point is, in our quest to improve, we often get rid of the 1 or 2 things we did great. So now all of a sudden, remember 2 years ago, we used to do this and that? Yeah, we don't do that anymore. Well, that was like the best thing we ever did. And you go, gulp? Really? So find what it is. We're too close. See, my company has a process. That's our differentiator. We have a differentiating process to differentiate companies. We discover their differentiation. And we will go into their headquarters, their factory, their technology area, service area, whatever they're doing. And we will be searching for what could be a unique differentiator. And here's what's interesting, Maurice. Often it's right in front of our client and they go, what do you mean? That's different? We go, okay, does everybody in your competitive set do this? And they go, well, they all do 1 or 2 parts of it. Okay, does everybody do all those things, all 5 steps? No. Okay, that might be a differentiator. Okay, why did you insert this extra such and such and take more money and more time to make sure this thing is just done this way? And they go, well, it's just the way we do it. Okay, why? Well, it's safer, it's better, it's whatever. And we say, okay, does anyone else do it? And they'll go, I don't think so. You go, well, maybe that's a differentiator. So sometimes you're so close. So you can have friends, you can have outsiders come in and start looking for these things for you, because you've got to find them. And I think the good news is it's not 100 different differentiators. You know, it could be 3 or 4 things, but you name them. Now, one thing is, many of us who have children, we don't have child 1, child 2, child 3. They actually have names.
Right.
So name your differentiators, right? Name them. You know, we have a company we work with, and they're in Warren, Pennsylvania, a tremendous company called Betts Industries. And they have a valve component. I won't go into details on it, but it was a vent. It was a 407 DOT vent. And you go, okay. But they named it the Guardian. And you go, why would you name it that? Well, because it protects. Now, all of a sudden, you have the Guardian up against all these other components out there that don't have names. They're just numbers, 407. Like, who cares? But this is the Guardian. So name it, honor it, and then, like I said, celebrate it. So the people who are producing the Guardian in their plant in Warren, Pennsylvania, are going, you know what? We're helping to save lives. We're helping people make sure that they're driving down the highway and they're safer. You know, that's kind of important. I'm going to make sure I do a great job. That's how important it is. But it's something we have to focus on every day, and it will slip away. And you may be the only cheerleader for it on most days, but you got to be the cheerleader.
So Barry, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the inspiration. Where can they find you? Because some of us haven't found our guardian. Some people haven't found their that one little piece that's going to take them over the edge. So where can they talk to you and find you and reach out to you so they can find what they're missing?
Well, I'm very approachable. So whether you go to my website, which is barrylabov.com, or my company site, labov.com, or go to LinkedIn, or you go to Amazon and purchase my book, which is called The Power of Differentiation, no matter what, go ahead and do that. If you buy the book, leave a review. A good, honest review is great. But if you go to my website or to LinkedIn, as an example, reach out, leave a message. My website has a few free downloads. You don't have to leave your email if you don't for those. But what I want to do is help people. I want a million people to be inspired through this message. And if I can inspire 2 or 3, that's great. I'm on my way.
Barry, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate it. So, of course, all the information you just provided will be in the show notes. So you don't have to go very far. If you're driving, you'll be able to click on a link. So be sure to go and sign up for his newsletter, Wild to Wow newsletter. Take a look at the website and take a listen to all the other podcasts. But Barry, before I let you go, I got to ask you my question, man. My one last question that I ask everybody. My would you rather question. Now, Barry, would you rather choose 3 doors or a fork in the road?
I'd rather choose a fork in the road.
And why the fork?
You know what? No, I'd rather, because I'm going to have to make a decision, and I'm going. I don't want to leave it up to chance.
Nice.
Why throw it up to chance? I'll take the fork in the road. I'm going to go one way or another, and let's go.
Okay, cool. That was pretty simple. Not nothing major.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna share this one with you though, because I gave you 2 options, right? I had a guest that came on and said, Maurice, I reject those 2 answers. And the reason why he rejected, because he gave me the Star Trek analogy that there's always something else out there. And I cannot remember, I can never remember what the analogy was. But, for those of you who are Trekkies, please let me know in the comments, please. But it was very interesting because I asked this question because it shows sometimes how much we're in a box, and because I didn't give any parameters, right? So it's just a general question. No right or wrong answer, but I appreciate you answering the question for us, man.
You bet. I love it. I think that's a great idea. Throw the questions out and see what happens. I mean, nobody gets hurt, right? It's fun.
Right. So, but then it gives up other type of energies. It might tick off something else in the brain, think a different way, all that type of stuff.
I think it's great. Well, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Sure. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for listening to That Will Never Work podcast. And I will talk to you a little later.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Chisholm Group LLC and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work, or will it?